grey areas to reclaim the presidency. Trump is ahead in the 3 eastern states, while Biden is widening his lead in Nevada and the usually Republican Arizona. A really interesting state to watch tonight also is Georgia, just there. Now, there's only 18,000 votes in it. 0.4% is the difference between Biden and Trump, and Biden is leading there. So, while Donald Trump and his team are preparing to take the race to the courtroom, Joe Biden remains very confident that he can win the White House. The battle for America is certainly raging on.
Now, after a long night of counting, it's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency.
There are still millions of ballots left to be counted.
We may not know the results even today.
Joe Biden, as we speak right now, is knocking on the door of the White House.
We're going to win Pennsylvania, but they're trying to cheat us out of it because they know it's their only path to victory.
The president is starting to see this slip away.
The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media's covering up. We want our freedom for the world.
That's the mood of the president.
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Every vote counts.
We break and divide every demonic confederacy against the election, against America.
We, the people, will not be silenced.
We break it up in the name of Jesus.
We're going to win this election. We've actually won it.
There's just no basis to make that argument tonight.
This election gets decided by the people. It's just a matter of counting the votes fairly.
Every vote must be counted. No one's going to take our democracy away from us.
The latest from 7 News with Michael Usher.
Well, for more on this razor-thin race to the White House, let's go to our US correspondent, Paul Kadak, who's in Washington, D.C. for us tonight. Paul, good evening. So, it's all happening. It is not stopping. What is the latest on the count?
Well, Michael, first signs of sunrise over the American capital here, but still no sign of a clear winner as yet. But as you say, in those 5 key states, the things have been shifting over the evening as the vote count continues. Taking a look at Georgia, where it is just now, 20,000 votes in at 0.4 percentage points. And it is Trump in front, but Joe Biden has been steadily eating away at that lead. And the important thing is the votes that are coming in, the votes that are still coming in, are going to be coming in from the Atlanta area. The suburbs of that city are expected to favour Joe Biden. So as that comes to the end in Georgia, it's expected those votes will lean Democratic, which may be enough to bring that even closer and maybe even put Joe Biden in the lead. In Arizona, Joe Biden is in the lead, but the opposite is happening. Donald Trump is actually closing in on him there. In Pennsylvania, that is the must-win state for Donald Trump. 20 electoral votes up for grabs there. That count is going a little slower. We probably won't get the full result there for a couple of days. Donald Trump's lead is quite substantial there, but again, the next vote's coming in there from the city of Philadelphia, expected to lean Democrat, and that could bring Joe Biden closer. And the big point to make, out of all of those 5 states, Joe Biden needs to win just any 2 of those, and he gets to 270. He gets the White House. Donald Trump needs to win Pennsylvania and then at least 3 others to then get to 270. But with these votes that should come in the next 24 hours, we could well see that 270 mark reached.
And Paul, as we saw there before, Trump's camp has filed a series of lawsuits in key battleground states. My question to you is that all 5 of those states that we just showed in grey on the map, or is it just Pennsylvania? What are they targeting?
Well, at the moment, what was an opening salvo and a barrage of legal challenges covers 4 states, and they do include Pennsylvania, where the dispute is over allowing mail-in ballots to come in and be counted 3 days after Election Day. They include Georgia, but the other 2 are Michigan, where there's a complaint from the Trump team about vote watchers not being allowed close enough to see the votes being counted, and in Wisconsin, which was given to Joe Biden by a razor-thin margin, and they've demanded a recount there. Though there is speculation that perhaps there will be legal challenges in Arizona and Nevada, those other 2 states that are still to be decided. plenty more legal challenges are expected. And both the Republicans and Democrats are now asking their supporters to start making donations to pay for those legal challenges ahead.
Paul, just very briefly before you go, I know you're running out of time, but to clarify for me, Biden needs 2 states. In Pennsylvania, it sounds like the counting is going to go very, very slow, so they're going to take their time there. But in Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, they're all at very high percentages already counted, aren't they? We could find out those 3, any of those 3, perhaps by the morning, next 24 hours. Is that the case?
Next 24 hours, we're expecting a lot more votes to come in, a lot more results to come in from Georgia, from Nevada, where Las Vegas is the area they're waiting for votes to come in there, again expected to favour Joe Biden, and Arizona. And in Arizona, it is the city of Phoenix and suburbs, again expected to favour Joe Biden. So more results coming in there in the coming hours today.
Pennsylvania may become irrelevant in the end, but we'll see. All right, Paul Kadak in Washington, D.C., thank you. Political protests are spreading across the states as election results remain uncertain. New York police have tonight clashed with hundreds of anti-Trump demonstrators who took to the streets to demand every vote be counted. It was an initially peaceful protest in the West Village, but it took a violent turn later into the night, resulting in 60 people being arrested there. There have been similar scenes in several regions with supporters from both sides of politics having run-ins with police. Joining me now is Emmy Award-winning US journalist Sarah James and CEO of the US Studies Centre, Professor Simon Jackman. Now, thank you both for joining me. Sarah, I'll start with you. The momentum certainly seems to be with Biden. Are you surprised at how narrow the gap has now become?
I'm actually not surprised because we always knew that this was going to be a very close election. In fact, I had resisted the temptation, although asked many times, to say who I thought was going to win, because I really thought it was going to be too close to call. And now what we're seeing is, although there were more votes cast for Biden than for any candidate in presidential history, nevertheless, the Electoral College right now, we just don't know about some of those states. Some of them are still too close to call, states like Arizona and Georgia and Nevada and, of course, Pennsylvania.
Simon, if Biden does win, does he obviously inherits a divided America, but it seems to be split almost absolutely even right down the middle.
Well, particularly in those swing states that Trump narrowly won in 2016, looks like they'll be just as narrowly won, potentially, by Biden. The big thing about last night is that the tidal wave towards Dems that we were expecting hasn't materialised.
No.
And so that leaves not only the country divided, but Washington divided. Biden, if he wins, will not have, it looks like, a majority in the Senate. And so these thoughts of a grand legislative ambition under one party taking control of the presidency, House, Senate, is just doesn't look like it's going to materialise.
No. Sarah, you mentioned that record amount of voter turnout and the most amount of votes going to Joe Biden. But there's this college system. Does that amount of those numbers count for anything in the end?
No, they're really just step one in the process. What really happens is, of course, that electoral college system. And, it's this kind of creaky piece of 18th century machinery that is being thrown up against a 21st century system with social media and everybody online and everybody expecting everything instantaneously. Yeah. When, frankly, that was never the expectation of the founders.
Simon, I think they tried in the late 60s to change that system, didn't they? With no joy at all? Or?
There's a lively debate among election nerds about a system whereby each state volunteers to allocate its electors in accordance with how the national vote went. And that is dead on arrival, yes. Because this system, it is great if you are a small state. Right. It gives you all kinds of power. Otherwise, California, New York sort of would dominate the system. But right now, Ohio, Iowa, these states in the middle get all this attention lavished on them because of this system. They're not about to give that up easily.
Sarah, what do you think we're facing here? We've seen the threats, the legal threats today. Are we staring at Supreme Court actions, a Supreme Court battle?
I I think it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. I think what's going to happen is we're going to have to see how tight the margins are in some of these states. And I think you can expect a whole lot of noise over the coming days. What I'm really watching for, and I'm sure Simon is too, is how tight are these margins? The tighter they are, the more likely that there are going to be court challenges. If it's a blowout someplace, then it's a little bit different. But spare a thought for the election workers who are busily counting.
I know, they are, furiously. Simon, on those percentages, they are so slim. 0.2 here, 0.4 there.
Yeah.
Look, a win's a win, so it doesn't matter how narrow it is, but it makes it contestable, doesn't it? Doesn't it play into Trump's camp that if it's that close, recount?
Sarah's point's an excellent one, and that's right. In some states, in particular Wisconsin, the Trump campaign has already signalled the result is likely to land in the zone where they are entitled to ask for a recount, signal they will. And, you know, we talk in polling about the margin of error. This cycle, a new term has entered the lexicon, the margin of litigation.
Yeah.
Is the result outside that space where a reasonable court case might be able to throw enough of the votes out? The other issue here for the Trump campaign, though, is the number of states they might have to do that in if Biden is up, say, at the end of this in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Arizona, in Nevada. Is he going to go to court in all of them?
Sarah, I've only got a few seconds left. I'll give you the final question, though. But traditionally, an outgoing president, if it is to be Trump, would go quietly for the first term. They go very low-key for the 4 years, allow the next president to bed in. What are we going to see here if Donald Trump is booted out of the White House?
Well, first of all, there's never been anything quiet about Donald Trump. That's the first thing I'd say. The second thing, though, is that some of the noise that we've heard about fraud, I think, just put that to the side. At this stage, we haven't seen that. So expect some fireworks. But I think if it's called and it's clear, you're going to see the president walk out of the White House and Joe Biden walk in if Joe Biden wins the election.